Distractions, they are at an all-time high. It's just what it is. Realtor noise has never been louder. All right, everybody, welcome back to another Reeducation Experience podcast. It has been a long time. It has been too long, actually. And today, episode 84, is the start of a new journey. That's what I'm titling this episode. And I have to just share my appreciation with everybody who has been on this kind of 2.5-year journey with me. Been doing this a long time, 84 now episodes in, and we've seen a lot of changes over this. And I just want to say I'm honored that you're still here listening. As time went on and as I built the cadence of this, actually, I'm really blessed to see that the amount of people that took benefit and reached back to me personally grew and grew as time went on. And I think this is just kind of an overall testament to, like, when you stick to something long enough, good things can happen. And this is why I actually, for those of you that have kind of been watching or wondering, is I took a break. Here we are in March 19th, and I'm here to start this new journey with you. And if I'm thinking about this at all, I believe that the truth is that podcasting has become kind of like an audio version of throwing spaghetti at the wall and just hoping what sticks. The growth of podcasts everywhere has happened, and I didn't really love the direction on where I was going, and I was feeling like I was putting out content to just put out content. And that truth to me started to hit home, where I felt like I wasn't putting out the value that I thought I could, and it was more just to chase another episode and a download. And I know many of us feel this way oftentimes in our own social media content, whether you're writing email series to your newsletters or whatever that might be. And I am no different, but today is going to be different. And going forward, it's going to be much more intentional. So I'm really excited to start this journey, because the truth of that spaghetti on the wall, I no longer want to be a part of those who follow me and those who take action with me. So why does this matter to us today? Why should you be sitting here listening to me? I think there's a couple things that I want to kind of, share with you. Why an intentional podcast and following somebody should matter to you. I think there's a major problem right now, and it's that distractions are literally like killing us like a knife, right? They are literally causing us to bleed out in our world today. They are killing real estate careers. And to be honest, this is growing. It's not declining. The distractions out there that we face continue to grow and grow and grow. Because the access to information is literally unlimited and at our fingertips. We are seeking it out, we are consuming it out, and we're not implementing. So we have all this stuff coming in, right? Our poor little heads, that's my little spiky heads. We have all this information, all this noise coming our way, and we just allow it in, right? We don't have any type of filter that is saying what has to rebound out. And because of that, we aren't the good little soldiers we once were that continue to march down the path towards success. We felt good because we might be dealing with something, right? Why would I, in this format, potentially be the person that you say, you know what, maybe it is time for someone to cut the crap. Maybe it is time to follow something with a little bit more intention. And I'm just going to throw this out there. Here it is, 2025. This is now for me, which is wild to think about, 20 years now in the business. And I have gone through good times, bad times, flatline times, high growth moments, steady state moments, and even moments of decline where I had to pause and readjust. And because of this, I've had a kind of a front row witness for my own journey, right? Me and my eyes, right? I've been able to see. But I've also been watching how so many, because I've had an opportunity to impact and be a part of large teams and continue to grow them, especially here with Real Broker reaching beyond our borders. I've had this lens to see and watch things through. And I think more than ever, now is the time to kind of cut this out. And if I'm going to spend time putting anything out to the world, I want it to be valuable, right? So distractions, they are at an all-time high. It's just what it is. Realtor noise has never been louder, right? Our heads are on a swivel, like never before. And as a result, nothing is being put into action, right? The age of the realtor rat race, I guess I would say, is physically on steroids, right? You think of the rat race as just like this hamster wheel of like feast, famine, and how to survive. Because of all that other stuff, it's like you fed those darn rats with steroids and they're running in circles faster and faster every single day. And I guess I'm on a journey to help fix it. So that's why I'm back some energy into this and finally say, it's time to come back. So I guess what's the deeper issue? The deeper issue that I wanted you guys in this kind of like comeback episode is this concept of fear. I want you guys to think about this. Fear. Fear is not a strategy, but fear has become common practice, right? Fear. Fear what though? Right? Why am I in this rabbit hole? Why am I letting this rat race to continue to consume me and worse, right? I think this is more commonplace today. I gave some thought to this. Is that I think there's a fear that what we're doing is not going to work, right? You're out there consuming a lot of stuff, right? And there's this fear that if I like jump on it and I run the course for a while and I use some of my energy and effort and capital, that this simply won't work because what is coming at you and all the different angles of noise that comes our way, like I was sharing on that little like diagram, doesn't reflect the business that we truly want to build, right? Staying the course on something, right? And staying steady and just being that little person that goes across and across, staying consistent on anything that you kind of have a little bit of lack of trust in is a recipe for, well, it doesn't happen because when we don't trust things in our business, we don't trust if that YouTube strategy, door knocking script, email marketing campaign, CRM strategies, open house this, events, seminars is going to work. It is really hard to stay consistent long enough, isn't it? And you start and you end up stopping, and then you start another thing, and then you start another thing. And it's all coming back to this fear in our business right now because of everything. So again, what would be a consequence to this, you guys? If you truly get where I'm going with this, what could be a consequence of ignoring this fact? And I got to tell you this, right? Realtor roller coaster, right? Where you kind of have high success and you sell a couple of houses a month, and then things aren't happening, they're not dropping in your lap. So then you get a little bit fat, meaning you're like, I got a few paychecks coming in, and you get a little bit lazy, and then you drop down. And then you keep doing this, you're like, oh shit, panic mode. Alex Hormozi would say the valley of despair. And then you start to climb up, and you come down, and you climb up and climb down. This is the real world consequences of us not getting a handle on this, and not finding some truth, and not finding some consistency, and kind of getting over this fear, right? That version, if you start year one, and then you go through this, and then you get going year two, and you survive, and you do go a little bit, and year three you go, and if you can't get over this, by the time you're at year 10, if you survive, you're running this run and gun business. You're running this roller coaster business, and it feels like where some agents are steady state and they've got their stuff figured out, you're still this agent roller coastering through the business. And I'm going to suggest that this is not where we want to be, right? This is not where I want to be. I want those that tune in to my show. I want those that come here are coming to be on a journey. And they're coming here kind of with me with this like purposeful intention to listen. Not just another podcast that I'll throw while I'm running or working out or cooking the dinner or driving between showings. Now I know because of the audio format, you're going to see that, you're going to get that. But what I want more for the listeners is to not have it be your typical podcast. I want it to feel more so like you're on a ride with me as almost like a personal coach would, somebody in a one-on-one mentorship, that if you had the time to spend with them and you took the energy to spend the 30 minutes, the 20 minutes, maybe the 60 minute as I unpack things, if you were able to do that, you would hopefully take something away and put it into practice. You would analyze what I'm saying and you would try to move the needle forward, which means if you listen to something while you're on the go, but you would use this as if you paid for it. And to go back to your notes or go back to your mental, whatever you reminded while you were driving, and come back and listen to it again to say, how can I implement one takeaway and move the needle forward? So as I restart the podcast, you guys, I want those who listen just to not think of it as like, which cool guest will Darren bring on this time? Or what new hack or trick or new age trend will he be chasing, right? Because the goal isn't to throw something at you on this audio and video version that may not land, right? That doesn't fit within your world, right? Because you've got your plan going, and in reality, you're gonna have things that you do. And if I'm gonna bounce stuff randomly, as pretty much every podcaster does, to create this realtor noise, and it's that constant fear of like, is this the right thing or should I be pivoting? This is not what this is gonna be for. If it was gonna be for that, I could just keep going with what I was doing. I could be just any other podcaster, but I think if I'm gonna challenge the convention, is I want to make sure that's the case. And I'll give you a tangible example about this. I used to be part of a coaching organization. I was with Tom Ferry for years. And we kind of I had a small kind of inner circle mastermind with like 6 or 7 folks. And there was some of us that would take the lessons from our coaches and we'd go off and we'd run and we would see an increase in our business. And say there's probably like, I don't know, I'm going to say 3 or 4 of these people that certainly saw trajectory changes in their business where they, instead of just doing this, they really did do this, and they spent their money on coaching and their time, and it actually created an increase in their business. But I'm also going to tell you guys, there were folks in that mastermind, I love these guys and these gals, where they didn't. They were there consuming just like you would be here today. They were here listening to their coaches and checking in. But really, if I'm going to look back over the 5 or 6 years I spent in that group, that their business trajectory year over year basically stayed right around here. And to this date, I actually don't know if they're any further ahead. And to me, that would be a letdown as to how if I have a follower group that has that happening in their business, no different if I had a one-on-one coaching client that I couldn't tangibly show that we created change in their business. Okay. So that is what I want you guys to kind of wrap your head around. So as I restart this, I want you guys to get a sense for this, right? It's to be used as a podcast that creates real change equals real change. And maybe that's not something that happens when you listen to typical podcasts, because I know it's not for me, right? It's not always the case, but I want you to think about it as you think about the journey here. It's like when people hire a consultant for their business, and the consultant comes in and looks to see all the things that are going on. Well, what do they typically do? A good consultant will strip things down. It's almost like basic principles. And they strip away all the noise that once felt something was so important to their business. But the consultant, the good ones, they will work and they will build back from the foundation step by step. And they will build towards something that is steady. And because every time they take a step up, guess what? There's a bunch of bricks that had to get laid as they stepped. This wasn't just somebody trying to like scoot past the fundamentals. And they were jumping, they were solidifying. So by the time they get to, stage 5 in their business, that it is built strong, right? It is built strong. And I'm going to challenge everybody who decides to stay on this journey with me, as this is the trajectory that I want. I'm challenging myself to do, but also to give to you guys. So how do we do this? How are we going to do this together? Step one for you guys is this. Let's do a group reset. Let's do a reset on your expectations of me as your host, as your coach, as your mentor, as whatever the heck you want to call me, right? I want to reset it, and I want to reframe why you come back to these episodes. And I want you to reframe it so that you're coming here with intention, not just for what a lot of people are chasing right now, is this concept of edutainment. It's cool, right? If you can be funny, and if you can evoke emotion, if you can do a lot of the stuff that conventional people would say is like, if you can throw some entertainment into the education, you're going to be the one that goes viral. Well, I'm not here to go viral. I'm here to help, right? I'm here to help you. So this is not the goal of this podcast, you guys. Okay. So stop one. That is the reframe. As this show progresses, I guess I'll challenge you with a number 2. As the show progresses, be prepared to take notes as if you showed up at an event, as if you hired your coach, right? And I want you to think about it that when you consume my stuff, or make sure that you find the time for this right? And I want you to use these, and I want you to create takeaways, and I want you to challenge yourself that action has to happen, not just consumption. Are you guys following me? Right? That's step 2, right? I'm putting a lot of time to prepare these things so I can frame things, provide context, give you examples from my real world experience, so that as I give you any level of listening like we're doing here today, that you have something that has been thought through. Okay. So if you're listening in a car, that's fine. If you're listening while you're walking, that's fine. But we're going to have you probably come back to the episodes more often than you would a typical podcast. All right. So that is step 3. And then step 4 is another layer that I'm rolling out. So because of the thought and the intention that I'm doing, the frame that I do for every one of these Go Forward podcasts, when I'm going to put one out, it's going to be thoughtful with intentions and give you this level of kind of one-on-one feel. That what will come from this, guys, is actually workshops. My goal with every single podcast is through my e-series, right? So I did stop my e-series back in December as well. And the reason I did that is because I just felt I was putting out stuff for the sake of putting out stuff, and it wasn't as intentioned. And I think if you look through your spam filters, you will notice that you've subscribed to a lot of e-newsletters that you do not open up. And why is that again? Because it's like spaghetti at the wall. You don't know what you're going to get week to week. You have no idea if it's relevant to you. And again, you're not really consuming that to change your world. You're just consuming it to feel kind of good and to feel like you're connected to some influence or to somebody with some bigger thoughts. But they don't always work out. So through my e-series, you guys, I'm going to be not only rehashing things like when the podcast episodes come out or some kind of hit moments that come from these, but I am going to be further extracting these and turning it into virtual workshops that you can take part in. Now, I say that virtually because the audience is from all over North America, and the goal here is to turn the podcast episodes into something that you can come and join me and do an intimate workshop, okay? That you can take action on the concept, and I'm going to challenge you guys to go deeper on the things. So again, back to this concept of like your coach, consume it as if you're paying for it, give the intention as if that you had spent a lot of money to do this. And these workshops are going to be delivering them. If you follow my social media content, you'll see them prepared. But mostly, honestly, guys, I need you to take part in the e-series. And you have to just go to my Reeducation.school site, where a lot of you guys have accessed courses and stuff. And there's an opt-in there to join the e-series or rejoin it if you were a part of it before and maybe you thought you might have unsubscribed for whatever reason. And I won't hold that against you because maybe the content wasn't that great. Okay, so that's the challenge, right? Is to join this journey with me, to take part in this journey with me, and then hopefully come even deeper inside the workshops. And if you think the topics we're talking about, I want you to invite friends. I want you to invite teammates. I want you to invite colleagues. I want you to invite people at your firm that you think could be valuable. Because again, this is just this outward push to just honestly build better realtors. And that's kind of my motivation among all things. So as I leave you guys, I guess something that came to mind is like, what if? What if? Think about this. What if? What could happen if you follow me on this journey and you're willing to kind of shed away the typical podcaster type vibe and to say, what if I can treat this like the journey Darren's talking about? What if you can start and embark on this journey with me? What could happen? Right? To me, I believe the change that you're looking for is unavoidable. Unavoidable. I do believe if you come on this journey, I have coached many people one-on-one and one-to-many to great successes. As many of you know, I have ran the largest team at Real Broker in Canada for years. We've been selling over 1,000 houses between my independent brokerage and now my group for nearly, going on a decade. Right? That's a long time. Right? So the what if is the change is unavoidable if you're willing to go through this. The proof is in the pudding with the people we've been able to support. And if you just have to look through the accolades for a minute, you'll see it on my social channels, or you just watch what a lot of the redline agents are doing out there. Things are going well. So the final takeaway, I held off for almost 4 months putting out another episode because I really wanted to think this through so that if I'm going to put my energy and time, it was going to impact you in the most available way I can. And this audio format seems to be the one that gets to the masses, and turning it into, of course, options for workshops that are free for everybody and free to share. Is as excited as I've ever been about this. Now, if you are on YouTube, these are going to be shared on YouTube on video format as well. If you like it a little bit more edited, as you can tell, I like to doodle. I'm always in front of people and I doodle in front of them, and I'm going to be doodling in front of every one of these episodes as well. So again, in the show notes, guys, I'll put the links that are required specifically to the Reeducation.school website so you can join the e-series once again. And we will start to pump out and get things moving for you so that you know if you've consumed it, that there will be follow-ups on pretty much everything. And I will bring on guests as well, you guys. I will be going through that journey, but they have to make sense. They have to make sense to what we're talking about on the journey that I want to take you on for real change. So anyways, I'm excited to be on this journey with you guys. Thank you for taking this time. Welcome back to the Reeducation Experience, and I hope you're excited. If you are, please shoot me a message, drop a review. I'd just love to know where your head's at as you experience this with me.